Hey 49ers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into the 49ers Report. Today's video is brought to you by Manscaped, our new ad partner here that's going to give you guys 20% off whenever you go to or manscaped.com/chatsports. Use the promo code 49ers20 and you'll get 20% off. Plus, we'll go ahead and include free shipping. More on that here in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and start with the rumors though. And George Kittle, the contract update we've all been waiting for is here, and yet it still seems far away. I'll go ahead and explain that. So Kittle, of course, enters the final year of his deal. He will be a free agent in 2021 if we don't get a deal done sooner rather than later. 49ers said weeks ago that they were working on a deal for George Kittle, and yet here we are. Kittle still has not been signed. Let me just say this. They need to sign Kittle right now. It's very obvious. We all know this. Sign George Kittle right now. That way you don't have any sort of weird get into the season, he wants to play out his deal, and then he gets hurt, and then you don't sign him. It's a mess. You need to sign George Kittle right now. The question is, how much is it going to cost? And I want to cover that here at the beginning of this video. So Chris Biderman said this about the George Kittle deal, quote, that sweet spot, in terms of his contract, could come significantly higher than any other tight end has been paid. Austin Hooper in March signed with the Cleveland Browns for 4 years and $44 million. That included $23 million in guarantees. His $11 million annual average is the highest in the league for that position, and just over $10.6 million value on the franchise tag. Hunter Henry also signed a big deal as well. Him and Hooper's contracts are similar. I'll explain that here in a second. Before we go, though, let's just make this simple. Like this video, do you guys think we should go ahead and re-sign George Kittle right now? If George Kittle deserves to be paid, give this video a thumbs up. I think every single one of you guys should go ahead and thumb up the video because we all know George Kittle's great. Gotta pay the man right now. So, Biderman mentions about all the high-paid tight ends and where George Kittle's money could go ahead and land. I want to break it all down. So, the 4 highest-paid tight ends in the National Football League are as followed. Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, Travis Kelce, and Kyle Rudolph. Now, Hooper and Henry are right about $10.6 million per year. They're the highest paid. Then you have Kelce and Rudolph, who are sitting there about $9.3 and $9.06 million. And you think about, let's say, Austin Hooper with his $10 million contract versus what George Kittle did in 2019, and the numbers don't. I mean, the numbers tell you the full story. The numbers don't lie here, right? Kittle had a way better year. He had 300 more yards. He had a lot more catches, sort of 10 more catches. He was a bigger factor overall for his football team than Austin Hooper was with the Atlanta Falcons, now with the Cleveland Browns. So if we take Austin Hooper as the mold here for this contract, which hopefully is coming the next couple of days and weeks, you say, okay, Hooper got paid this. It was $10.6 million. What could a projected Kittle contract look like? I crunched the numbers. This is what I think it is going to be. I think it'll be a 5-year deal. I think it'll be worth $70 million total. That'll be the big number to kind of pop off and make all of our heads kind of spin. It'll be $27 million to $30 million guaranteed, probably about 27. And he's going to get $14 million per year. Yes, that's what the latest reports are saying. It's going to be upwards of 14, maybe even $15 million a year for George Kittle. He's going to completely reset the tight end market. As we predicted and as we reported here weeks ago, there were a lot of outlets saying he was going to reset the market. This would be your market reset. Not only a couple of $1 million more than Austin Hooper, how about $4 million more than Austin Hooper? That is the projected contract. They're probably working out the details right now. I hope this contract is coming sooner rather than later. Now, it's a lot of money for a tight end, so I'll ask you this question. As great as Kittle is, now I would pay it, but maybe there's someone out there that wouldn't. Would you give a tight end, aka George Kittle, $14 million per year? Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no in the comment section. Okay, another very interesting overall story I wanted to get to is Joe Staley and the reason why he decided to retire during the NFL draft. This is kind of weird in terms of the time slot. You would think he would have retired before the draft. That way the Niners could have addressed the draft need at that position. Now, they eventually did get Trent Williams, so it was technically okay, but it was just kind of a weird timeline for Joe Staley, and he actually spoke to the media and kind of broke down exactly what went into him retiring. We'll get to that in a second, but again, as I said, this video is sponsored by Manscaped, which I think you guys should go ahead and get, not only because the promo code gets you 20% off, but because you probably need it. Trust me, Manscaped sent me and everyone here at Chat Sports a super awesome kit to go with the NFL draft. They gave us a ton of different lotions and different deodorants, obviously the trimmer, the Lawnmower 3.0 as well. It's fantastic and it works better than advertised. I was a little skeptical. I was like, how great can this thing actually be? Tried it. It's as good as it gets. Trust me here. And we're going to go ahead and hook you guys up with one in terms of 20% off. Going to our website, their website, manscaped.com/chat. Use the promo code 49ers20 2020, you'll get 20% off. And because, I'm here to help you guys out, free shipping as well. Don't wait. Go ahead and pick one up. Go ahead down to the comment section. 20% off all of their products right now at manscaped.com/chat. So Joe Staley said this to the media in terms of what went into him retiring. Quote, "It got to the point," talking about injuries here, "it got to the point where in the Super Bowl, I'd make contact with my head with anybody. I'd have from the base of my neck down through my back, I'd have just a zing, and my arms would go numb. Basically, I had herniations at a bunch of different levels and really severe stenosis." He went on to say that the doctors told him you would have to go ahead and have major back surgery in order to play again, which could impact your future health in terms of being able to play with your kids whenever they get a little bit older and be able to walk during later down the line in terms of just the overall health and well-being. The livelihood of Joe Staley was going to be at risk here if he did not go ahead or if he went ahead and did this injury and played on. So he was trying to get all this medical assistance and medical research done on him, I'd say. Probably not research, but medical analysis done on himself leading into the NFL draft. Try to get it done before. Of course, this stuff takes a while, and the doctor eventually said, hey, you got to make this decision. You got to decide if you want to have major surgery or just go ahead and retire. He decided to retire, and that's why the time frame was a little bit odd for Joe Staley. Now, we know how great he was. Obviously, he's going to be missed in terms of 49er fans, but getting Trent Williams is going to really help out, and I think obviously upgrade the position as well for the 6-time Pro Bowler and a guy who did start in 11 playoff games, just unable to win the final one as he's appeared, of course, in two Super Bowls. Before we go on to the final one here, go ahead and subscribe to 49ers Supporters. We're cruising to 25K. We're going to be at 25K here in the next couple of months. Go ahead and jump on the train. Click the red subscribe button down below. That way you guys get notified and have the videos put in your subscription box whenever they go ahead and drop. Final bit of news here regards Jalen Hurd and the vision and idea for Hurd going into 2020. With the 49ers losing Emmanuel Sanders, Hurd's whole impact has to become greater because, yeah, you drafted Brandon Ayuk and you have Deebo Samuel, but you still need another receiver to go ahead and tie it all together. And a guy who was drafted last year, missed the entire season, yet still has very high expectations according to Kyle Shanahan. I think he's going to have an absolutely massive year. Peter King has a fascinating quote on what he thought about Jalen Hurd as early as last year. I'll get to that in a second. Quick question, who has more catches in 2020? Is it Hurd or Ayuk? Type H down below for Hurd, type A down below for Brandon Ayuk. Who has more catches? Let me know down below. So Peter King had a fascinating interview and article with Kyle Shanahan, head coach of course, the 49ers. This is all for NBC. It published just a couple of days ago, and they brought up the idea of Hurd's 2020 impact. And Peter King straight up told this to Kyle Shanahan, quote, "I walked out of that camp," the 49ers camp that is, "and got into the car to go to the next place. The two women I was traveling with said, 'Well, what was your impression?' I said, 'We just saw the 2019 NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Hurd is going to come out of nowhere. He's going to be fantastic.'" That was Peter King's analysis when he was at the 49ers training camp as early as last year. Now, he says that to Kyle Shanahan a couple of days ago, and Shanahan basically agreed with him, saying, yeah, basically 14 different practices that Hurd was on the football field last year before the injury, and he was the best player on the field for all 14. They are as ecstatic and through the roof and excited for Jalen Hurd as anybody in the National Football League. They think that he can be a not only great player for the 49ers, but a superstar in this league, and they're excited to see him go ahead and get on the football field going forward in 2020. Don't let the injury, don't let the preseason stats, don't let the fact that there's Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk scare you away from thinking that Jalen Hurd is not going to be good in the National Football League. There's a reason that the 49ers got him in the 3rd round. There's a reason that Peter King told Kyle Shanahan that I saw him back last year, and he was the best player at training camp. He's healthy. He's ready to go. He's going to have an absolutely massive impact for the 49ers going into the 2020 season. I absolutely cannot wait. This offense, Deebo, Ayuk, Bourne, Hurd, Trent Taylor, maybe Dante Pettis if he actually turns out to be good. The running backs, the offensive line. This is going to be a great 49ers offense, and I would argue it will be better and probably more potent than where it was last season. That was a very good offense overall. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm going to say this. I'll finish with this. Jimmy Garoppolo has got to be one of the happiest quarterbacks and happiest people in the NFL with all the weapons that he has, the weapons he has coming back, and the head coach to scheme them all correctly. Jalen Hurd is going to have an absolutely massive year. It's fun to hear what obviously Peter King and what Kyle Shanahan had to say in that interview over at NBC. Okay, so all the time we have for today on the 49ers Report. Try to get you guys updated here on the latest update in terms of George Kittle's contract. I'm expecting it to be sooner rather than later. I'll be shocked if they wait into training camp and then maybe a holdup. Like, they want to avoid all that with George Kittle, who's quickly become one of the faces of the 49er franchise. Just avoid all that. Paying the money, it's going to be a lot of money. Let's get that deal done overall. The Joe Staley stuff was interesting because I wanted to update you guys as to why he retired at such a weird time. It was like day 2 of the draft. It's like, oh, Joe Staley's retiring. Peace out. Thankfully, the 49ers traded for Trent Williams. That was, I mean, overall, that was really good. And then finally, the vision for Jalen Hurd and the excitement surrounding Jalen Hurd is palpable and it's real, and I wanted to get you guys excited for that as well. Okay, again, all the time we have for today on the 49ers Report. I am Thomas Mott signing off. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.